Yeah, like if you take into consideration the audacity that it takes a person to go from humble beginnings to the point where they are contracted, or rather employed, to take on an opportunity to speak to the wealthiest person in the world, which at the time was Dale Carnegie. If you can imagine Napoleon Hill being, I believe he was 23 years old, to go out into the world and just take on the opportunity to be led, be mentored, and be put on a mission, requested and invited to go on a 25-year journey to interview and have conversations with some of the most wealthiest minds in the world. Like that's 25 years. If you think about what it takes for that, if you think about the commitment to that, if you think about who he became through that, I think we all have a little bit of Napoleon Hill in us. And for him to do that work, collect that data, apply it himself, and ultimately get supported by the people that supported that mission, that way of being, that lifestyle. Like, I say a little bit of all of us have is because we have access to the wealthiest minds in the world, through all the resources that we have. But do we have the discipline to actually document what we are learning and put it into practical use so that we become byproducts of all of that knowledge? Napoleon Hill actually did that. And that's why he amassed such a wide variety of books. To me, that phase of my life was a miracle that happened. Like I'm still in shock that happened. I was carrying Think and Grow Rich in my backpack, next to Awaken the Giant Within and The Magic of Thinking Big, from 17 to like 25. I was that book was always there. I was buying and handing out that book. And then The Secret came out and I correlated the two, and I was like, wow, The Secret is
the law of attraction.
The law of attraction. Then Bob Proctor and all this stuff started happening, and there was a boom. I think we all kind of woke up to a source of information that was sleeping inside of all of us. And for me, at 30 years old, to have the opportunity to teach the content, to be mentored by the president, to take on the responsibility of helping him create the curriculum, to practice all of that, like, it was huge. However, I was making a minimum wage salary while working at the Institute. So I wasn't even the richest person yet. It wasn't until after I left the Institute where I started to apply the principles. However, I actually had a breakthrough yesterday in realizing it's less about Think and Grow Rich, and it's more about the systems. Because Think and Grow Rich, it's actually not about money. Think and Grow Rich is about think and grow rich in your self-worth. Right? It's about a way of being. It's about the psychology of the human condition and how your way of being can help you innovate and think and apply and build the skills to become a wealthy person internally. And then through communication and connections, relationships, ethics, vision, through all of these desires and purpose, you become wealthy as a manifestation of your constant and never-ending improvement. But if, like, what I'm learning now as someone that's in it, and it's like we're dancing between 6 and 7 figures with clients and ourselves all the time, it's about systems and strategies, right? And ultimately everything starts with vision, or in their case, desire, right? Or purpose. So it's a remarkable book that I definitely suggest everyone takes in at least once. I've heard that the majority of people that read Think and Grow Rich don't finish Think and Grow Rich. They get to the sex transmutation chapter and then they fall off, right? So it's a deep read that requires immense study. It's not the type of book that you read for the purpose of getting complete with it. It's the type of person that you read for the purpose of studying, analyzing, and putting it to work.
It was on my third read, which was about a year ago, that I really started to understand it. The first two were just reads. Oh, it's crazy. This was written so long ago and it's still relevant. But then this time I studied it. I was highlighting, I was writing things out, I was doing the exercises. And it's like a completely different book. As the book stays the same, but it's you that's growing as a person every time you dive into it. It's kind of crazy, his story, Napoleon Hill, in your early 20s, you commit to 25 years, this mission, without any guarantee of coming out the other side with success. And what's amazing is what he learned with all those different people and all those lessons. He ended up becoming wealthy by writing these amazing books. So it's almost like his story and his journey proves that this stuff works, which is pretty awesome.